Hey guys, I'm all about keeping things minimal and also saving some money, and I thought that I would share with you some of my baby essentials just in case you happen to be minded in that way, the same as me. So I'm going to go over some basics. I believe there's about 8 of these items here, and I will take a note really quick to say that I got thinking about this video in actually the opposite way that I'm going to share it with you. I started thinking of it as all the things you don't need for your child, and the list just got way too long and also maybe a little offensive too, because I am very much understanding that there might be some things that other people consider essentials that I do not. So we're going to go the opposite direction of all the things you don't need and focus on all the things that I deem as essential items. And these things are not going to break your bank if you've got to buy them all for yourself, and they're also not going to fill up your house with items that you will use very rarely. So starting off with some of the basic things, clothing items. Now I'm just going to leave it as vague as that because I could probably go on for about 5 minutes, and I don't want to make this video too terribly long. So I will make another video about all the items that we found very necessary as far as what kind of clothing items my daughter needed. Now I will include with those blankets, kind of consider that part of the clothing, bibs, things like that. So moving on, diapers. Now I have done a video about how we cloth diaper and the inexpense that comes with that. So if you're very interested in that, hopefully just go check out that video. We do use Thirsty's dual wrap covers, and I consider that to be the best value for us. However, I do understand some people might need to use disposable diapers and wipes, so you will need to choose one or the other, whether you're going to be doing cloth diapering or disposables, and I know that in both those branches there's lots of different choices to make. So the next thing that I think is very important is food. How are you going to be feeding your child? If you're going to be using formula, there are a lot of different options out there as far as different allergens, milk-based, soy-based, things of that nature. And then of course you'll need the bottles along with those. Now, even if you are choosing to breastfeed, I would suggest that you do need a few bottles. For us, we probably use at most 2 at one time, along with our breast pump for when we're going to be gone for a few hours. Now, I received a ton of bottles and haven't really needed them, hardly any of them. Again, we can get by with just 2. So as far as bottles go, I'm not going to say that I've done the most research, but the ones that my daughter loves the best are the ones that are more shaped like the breast. So a nice fat, wide surface area, and then the nipple streaming out very, very little liquid. And these ones are actually called boob bottles. I'm not absolutely sure who makes them. Again, I use them so infrequently that I haven't really paid attention to that, and we got them free when we went to Target and registered for our baby shower. So that was awesome, and they fit right on top of or below rather, screw into our breast pump. Now as far as breast pumps go, I would say that if you are going to be breastfeeding and you're going to be with your son or daughter, for the most part, it really doesn't matter the brand. If you can borrow or purchase one for very inexpensive online on Craigslist from a friend, just go ahead and do that, and don't worry so much about brand, because if you're just going to be going out for some date nights and things like that, you're going to be using it so infrequently, and they all do work. That is just not too terribly important. Now, if you're going to be traveling, if you're going to be working in breastfeeding, then yes, please do the research. I would highly suggest the dual breast covered breast pumps, so that you can just kind of increase your efficiency with that, because when I do breast pump, it takes me about an hour or so going back and forth on each side to get enough milk. Because you're going to be producing less into this breast pump than if a baby was actually nursing. So, okay, sorry to spend so much time on that, guys. Moving on. The next thing is a car seat. Now, I would go ahead and say the same thing that I did with the breast pump. The brand is not so important. They all work. They all have to work because they have to pass certain safety inspections. and so I would go for one that is new. I would not recommend used with this because there's no way in most cases to tell if a car seat has been in a car accident, and they are meant to be discarded after that happens. Also, the safety standards do change on those relatively quickly. I know the one that we got that was about a year old, it was a floor model, so it had never been used, but it had been sitting around for a year or so. We got that one, and it's only guaranteed for about 4 more years. So, moving on from car seats, actually with that, I will say if you're being budget-minded, you can find car seats that go all the way from infancy up to the toddler years where they convert into the booster seats. Now we do have one of those, however we were also given, again these floor models, we were given them for free, one of the more traditional like bucket type infant car seats, and the ones that click out. And I will say that when I tried to put my daughter in the 0 to booster seat, it was too upright for her. Now I don't know if that was just me not having the car seat installed exactly correctly, because it was a little bit more difficult than the bucket seat. However, I didn't like that because, as you guys know, when they're very little, they have a hard time controlling their neck. They might be able to hold it upright for a little while, but for the most part their head's going to be lolling around, and I didn't like that at all, that her head would like fall forward. However, I do appreciate the versatility that it can go all the way up to, toddler years. So just something to consider there. Again, maybe I didn't have it installed correctly. I will leave it up to anybody else who has tried these out. That's just my experience with it, that I preferred the bucket seat for her when she was very young. And let's see, next item that we've got on the list are a safe place to sleep. Now, my husband and I were really interested in having our daughter have the Montessori free reign at night for sleeping. We wanted her to have the ability to move around and feel comfortable in her own room. However, we live with other people, and so we needed to keep the room that she was sleeping in friendly towards guests, which means leaving the bed, the traditional adult bed set up, furniture pieces with sharp corners, things like that, all in that room. So we did not feel comfortable that she was safe in that room with all those corners and the bed and things like that there. So what we decided on, what we had also been gifted along with that car seat, was a pack and play. And so we've found that to be tremendously awesome. I highly recommend it if you need a safe place for your infant to sleep. And here's why. They're inexpensive. They do convert from the bassinet type where, the bed's very shallow when they're very little and can't even roll over, all the way down to a traditional more crib as far as how tall the sides are. Also, some things that I like about it is that it's completely convertible. So we've taken it, up for trips with us whenever we go. If we go to a hotel, we can bring it. Even if we're going to be over to, our parents' house for an extended part of the day, we can bring her pack and play. And for our daughter, I think that makes all the difference with feeling comfortable with where she's sleeping. It's a little bit of normality. Now, one thing I appreciate about it, and I'm not sure that other people would second this, is that the padding on it is very minimal. Now, a lot of people feel like, oh, I want my son or daughter to have, the lap of luxury, very nice, comfortable, luxurious mattress. My husband and I, again, we're very minimal. We like to sleep on the floor with a few blankets. We appreciate the harder surfaces. We feel like it's a better, more conductive area to sleep because it's good for your back, for your spine, and this is just the way we feel. And so, of course, we'd want to, expose our daughter to the same standards that we have for ourselves, which is minimal padding. So I'll just throw that out there. Now, another important thing would be, let's see, I've covered most of these things. Toys. Now, yeah, you could make all your own toys, but, for about $30 you could also go to a secondhand shop or go on Craigslist or yard sales and find all the toys you'll need for your son or daughter for, you know, the whole first year of their life. Now I've got some toys behind me. These are some of my daughter's favorite toys through the months. She's coming up on 9 months here soon, so we're getting close to the 1 year mark. So some of her favorite things at first were these little rings. I'm sure you've seen these around. And she loved these things because she could actually get her hands around them. They go great in her mouth. You can hang them from things so that they're kind of like dangling in her eyesight, things like that. So these have been awesome. She still plays with them on and off. And another thing they're nice for is hanging or attaching onto like the shopping carts now that we can put her in the bucket seat of the shopping cart to make sure that any toys that we might bring with her don't fall onto the floor. So there's those. This book was also her favorite. We got this for free. Can't remember where, if it was from Target or it might have been honestly the library. We might have gotten this for free from the library for going in and registering and getting her a library card. And as you can see, it's got these harder plastic sides that little kids love to chew on, and as you can hear, this little crinkle stuff was like her favorite when she was so little. It would just really keep her occupied, and then of course the rings for her to be able to grip on. And one thing I do like about these cloth books is that you can wash them. You can throw them in the washer. So after we do take them to, for instance, the grocery store, just throw it in there and get it all washed up. And let's see, this is recently her favorite. This is just a Kleenex box, and I've thrown some toys in here for her to pull out, and she just loves this thing. So this is something you can make yourself. And I've got the blocks up here. These are the stacking nesting blocks, and she loves those too. So, toys. Now, I think the last thing that I've got on my list here, oh no, second to last, is a high chair. You can, I suppose, hold them on your lap or tie them into a regular person's chair with a bit of fabric or your wrap. But I do like the high chair because it puts her on the same level as us when we're eating. It's very easy to wash up afterwards. Now that she's eating big people food, she makes a horrible mess all over the place, and it's so easy just to take that tray, dump it into the sink, and then rinse it all off right in the sink. It makes everything really easy. I also love to put her in it rather when I'm out in the kitchen cooking, because again, it's kind of giving her a little bit of height to keep her on par with us. And last thing is a way to carry your child or hold your child just going about your day, going shopping, just out and about. Now, you might be committed to simply holding on to them. However, I like to have some hands free, so I do highly recommend a wrap. Now, I made a video on making your own wrap. It's more of the Moby style wrap, and it's simply 3 yards of fabric cut in half with a bit of stretch to it, and that's it. That's the wrap that I use, and then there's tons of videos on YouTube on how to tie the things, so I won't make one on that. Or, you know, you might be the person who says, I'm going to use a stroller. Okay, then you need a stroller. So I think that's about 8 things that you need that are essential. Now, I was lucky enough to receive most of these things for baby showers or as gifts from people, or on loan, or from people who have had children who are just very willing to give it away. But I would say that if I had to go and purchase all these things, I would honestly buy most of them on Craigslist used, even the diapers, because that's just the way I roll, I guess. I am all about inexpensiveness, and I'm not too germophobic when it comes to those things. Nothing a little bleach and, you know, a few trips in the washer won't fix. So I would value that I could probably pick up all these things under $500, which to me is awesome. Now, if you were going to go and buy all these things new, you know, depending on the level of luxury that you bought with these things, I would say $1,200 at the most. So this is a lot different than what you're going to find as far as the national average for how much it costs to have a child. And that just really surprises me, guys, because it's not it's not so complicated as it seems. You know, here's just 8 things that you need, and that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you found this informative. And yeah, this is all you need, guys. It's just that simple. Bye.